It's a beautiful morning. Welcome to Atlantic Television Network. My name is Ekpo Temple. On today's edition of the show, USA outshines the Tigers in Paris. After that opt-out of US Open and football, FIFA lifts ban on Casino United. Details of these and many more will be yours in our jiffy. Don't go anywhere.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN. the line across the ocean.
All right, welcome back. If you're just joining us, it's sports talk here on Atlantic Television Network. I have Emmanuel Mike joining us as usual, and of course, I'll bring you all the latest. Mike, it's a beautiful morning. Good to have you in the studios.
Yeah, good morning, Champo. It's a wonderful morning here. Good morning to our viewers out there.
All right, we'll start from the local stories in sports. We are 100 of amateur and professional swimmers from over 15 states and 10 swimming clubs will hit Benin City of Edo State tomorrow to compete in the maiden edition of the Edo State Invitational Swimming Competition. The two-day maiden invitational tournament will take place at the Samuel Gbumudia Stadium in Benin City. The event, hosted by Edo State Aquatic Association, will see young and adult swimmers from around the country compete at the Samuel Gbumudia Stadium that has the Olympic-sized swimming pool. Leading the state and teams who have since registered to participate in the championship are Imo Swimming Club, Lagos, Ogun State, River State, Bayelsa, Kano, and Kaduna State. Others are Cross River, Delta, Akwa Ibom, Gombe, Ondo, Enugu, Harmony Club, Lauren, Jimmy Osunwo Club, and the Ebonyi State. And championship here is expected to bet new talent that will be considered for national assignment in the build-up to various events, including the African Games, Commonwealth Games, and the Olympic Games. When I hear things like this, well, I'm happy, but I mean, it is with aquatic swimming as an aquatic federation. I'm just wondering, you know, if sometimes we use those to colorate the listing for budding talent. But Mike, what your view on the activities of swimming first off?
I think it's a nice one from Edo State, trying to also groom swimmers, and this is what I personally expect from the Swimming Federation of Nigeria to be doing. But this one, Edo State is taking the lead out there, trying to organize a mini competition that will house different states out there, even swimmers from outside the country as well, to come showcase their talent. And possibly we can get to see one or two talents out there and follow them up. The essence of this kind of mini competition is not about winning it, but it's about churning out talent. This should be the aim of the Swimming Federation or Aquatic Federation of Nigeria, to also continue to follow this kind of lofty idea, so that at least we get to have one or two good swimmers. Because in the Olympic Games, such as this very one, if not for the Chinese Nigerian who decided to adopt Nigeria to represent Nigeria, maybe, just maybe, we wouldn't have any credible swimmer out there. For a federation, for a country such as Nigeria, has enormous talent. So for me, I hope it's not just going to be maybe the usual thing that after one time we don't get to see this kind of competition as well. And I believe that other states is also taking a cue from what Edo is doing in terms of swimming, to ensure that at least they continue to develop that angle of sport, because it gives medals, just like what we've seen in the ongoing Paris Olympic Games, that can actually amass a lot of medals coming in from the swimming or the aquatic event out there.
And of course, the Secretary of the Edo State Aquatic Association, Ms. Nina, assures all swimmers of a conducive environment and level playing ground ahead in the competition. Let's see how far this will go. And with that, now we move straight to the Olympics. It is day 13 of the Olympic Games, and of course, we still have more news from that quarter. For 100-meter hurdles semi-final, world champion Toby Amoshon qualified for the 100-meter hurdles semi-finals in the ongoing Paris Games. Amoshon led the pack of 8 athletes with 12.49 seconds, followed by America's Alea Charles Johnson with 12.61, and Jamaica's Janik Brown qualified for 12.84 seconds. And for me, it's lovely to see how far this is. Like, the timing for me, maybe because it's more like training ground, not like qualification. So all effort is not necessary to put in. But the good thing is that she maintained her pace and she got to the finishing line first.
That is the most important thing, that she got to the finishing line first. Whether it is the main event, of course, you can't actually get to the final without passing this first hurdle. It's a good news for us that Tobilola Amoshon has passed through to the next stage. But then the next stage even looks more difficult, taking a look at the quality of opponents, of the quality of an athlete that she will be facing. the US, pair, and the Bahamas, runner as well, who is also very, very good. Not also forgetting some other top athletes, even Camacho Queen as well is also in the next line that Toby Amotion will be facing. So it's more of a difficult one in her next outing, but I strongly believe that Toby Lola Amotion has what he could deliver, when it matters most.
And everyone matters most. Requires that she will have to do everything. She expects she's way ahead to be the gold medalist in this particular one. A lot of her preparation, a lot of anticipation. We've seen how she has progressed from one tournament. She came forth the last time. From there, she became a world champion. So we get to see Daniela Williams, reigning Olympic gold medalist, Jasmine Camacho Queen. It will be a very tough one. But the semi-final will come tomorrow, while the final is slated to hold on Saturday. So let's see what Toby will get to do with this particular one, and of course we expect her to lead. She is currently holding the world record in the timing of 12.40 at the Jamaican Athletic event in Kingston in May, and it looks like she needs to do everything possible to continue. The good thing about her is that she has been able to also work on her timing, which is also very important. Apart from being leading in the world timing in hurdles, she's also had a very good timing, this year, progressively from all the, like we saw from the Kingston Open there, and that is an assurance that she might just also, pay. But at this level, for her, she has created history. It's not about the timing anymore. I think she'll be about winning and competing, like you said. Very tough lineup, but nothing can stop her if you want to achieve success.
Yes, of course. If you want to be a champion, you need to beat, the best, on your way to becoming champion, and that is what it takes to be a champion. She has actually broken a record for herself. This is making it 3 consecutive appearances in the Olympic. 2016, she also qualified. 2021, she also made it through. This 2024, she has, qualified for the next stage as well. So for me, I think we'll be banking on the experience of the past as well. Also, noting that she was going to face some difficult opponent per se, but then I think some of these opponents are not strange to her because she has been competing with them in some different international meetings out there. So I expect her to also continue to improve on her timing, hoping that at least this time around she can be able to win an Olympic medal this year.
Meanwhile, Nigeria's Dose Ibadan have finished sixth in a time of 1 hour 46.56 seconds in men's 800 meter heat 2. France Gabriel Tau won the heat with a time of 1 hour 45.13 seconds. As for Nigeria's essay Okwese Raye finished sixth in heat 1 of women's Kiran track cycling event. She finished with a time of 13.108, missing out on the automatic spot into the quarterfinals. Okwese Raye will have another chance as she will now be competing in the rapid edge round, and she is the best cyclist Nigeria do have, competing at that level. I'm even happy that we have cycling as one of the events that we competed. I don't expect us to win, but the fact that we competed at that level, that's what we're saying. Give room for, continue to try. It takes some countries 10 years to participate in an event for them to win a medal some years. So if we have, cycling, it tells that we can even do something better. But your thought on her? This is the second event that she has participated. First one, she was nowhere at all. But this time around, in this particular track event, she was able to at least not qualify, but she did so when the heat. That ensured that she gets an automatic ticket to be part of the rapid. And if she gets to win the rapid, that would be very glorious for her.
Yeah, I think for cycling, this is not our strong area, but then it is also good that we continue to improve on it, knowing fully well that you must start from somewhere before you can be able to at least gain that headline that we truly deserve. And of course, Cycling Federation of Nigeria, they'll be up and doing, trying to also see if they can be able to see 1 or 2 talent improve on some areas as well. The last 1 year, you talk about cycling here in the country. I think Cycling Federation, they've been doing enough as well to ensure that at least we make our name in terms of cycling when it has to do with the international outing. And this year's Paris Olympic game, we're able to go out there, not making it through, but finishing sixth. I think for me, we are actually becoming more prominent in terms of cycling compared to the last 5 or even 7 years down the line, where nobody even get to reckon with Nigeria in terms of cycling. We continue to develop in that area, and that is why I keep saying that our administrators, we need to do a lot in terms of the things that we need to do in order to ensure that some of these good athletes, good sportsmen and women we have in the country will be able to find a place of rest and find a place of hope, so that they can be able to use such platform to continue to improve and develop their talent out there. Like I said, we should start, and we must start from somewhere, and for now we've started from somewhere. We've registered our name in the world stage, in the Olympic, in terms of cycling. Just maybe in the next outing we'll continue to improve. Who knows, we might get it right.
Who knows, we might get it right, and of course that's what we're hoping, that we get it right and move on. And imperatively, we need to look at things that will help us achieve those success. And for me, it's about getting the needed requirements, starting now. Like we talk about the swimming, like earlier we talked about the swimming stuff. If they're intentional about the process, it's something that they should be having, on a quarterly basis. In every year we have 4 quarters. So if you want to plan for the Olympics, look out for the young lads, not even the ones that are already aged, because at that level they can't compete with the big game. Because swimming has it has categories that can give you medals, and one of the highest sports that have a lot of events that makes medalists to emerge, and that's for me very important. So you look out for those medals and say, okay, if you have, like we have 50 meters, that the one to represented us in that particular one, we have other areas that we can. I think that if 4-year time, get them from school, and it doesn't get, the avenue. So in other spheres of sports too, we can also do the same. Meanwhile, the national record holder Nathaniel Ezekiel clocked the time of 48.65 seconds in his 400-meter hurdles, and will not advance to the final. And that's what we're saying. Mike, our guys are putting in their best. You know that they have done their best, but it looks like their best isn't just enough.
It's not just enough. What comes out in any game is that who won the game. Sometimes you might perform very well, but then at the end of it all, your effort falls short of the glory that comes with it, and nobody cares to know how much effort you put in, because there is no tangible proof to that effort. Just maybe comparing to a football match, that one side dominated possessions for 99% and couldn't score, but the opponent has just one chance, and you take your chance and you win the game. Nobody cares how beautiful you were able to play, how much possession you were able to dominate. What people care to know is who won the match. So our athletes, we are putting in enough effort. Personally they are doing enough, but then not good enough, because there's nothing to show for it. But then there is also hope for us going forward, that at least in the next outing we can be able to keep this young crop of athletes that we have right now. I think the future is even more brighter.
The future is even more brighter, but let's see how far that goes. And it looks like that might be, that might come to reality soon. Hopefully we'll get to see how we'll achieve that. And one thing very striking is the earlier the better for all of us. Though the Omozirike finished 7th in men's semi-finals 3 with a time of 20.72 seconds and will not be in the final. The race was won by United States Everton Kintin, who finished with a time of 20.09 seconds, and that's what we just said. Ella Onujevo finished 6th in a time of 51.05 seconds in women's 400 meter semi-final 2. Dominican Republic Mariliedi Paulino and United States Alexis Holmes finished 1st and 2nd with a time of 49.21 seconds and 50 seconds respectively, and are through to the finals. Let's bring this other interesting stuff, and of course Ophelia shifts attention to relay after missing an opportunity to pick a medal in the women's 200 meter event. Mike, I love the fact that when you fail in particular one, you have an opportunity to also race in the order.
Yes, for Favour Philly, it's been a very promising outing for her, despite the disappointment of the 100-meter not being registered. But then she gave her all. You know, just that her all wasn't good enough. And for me, a lot of things, a lot of lessons to be learned from the mental strength of Favour Philly. Immediately after finishing sixth, you know, she felt that it was disappointing outing for her. You saw her shedding tears profusely, crying. You know, that is a level of patriotism, you know, that we want to see. That is a level of dedication. Despite the setback, she was still able to give her all. You know, also thanking her coach and some of her teammates as well for being there for her in that challenging and trying times that she was facing mentally, because it takes someone that is mentally strong for you to be able to at least surmount such big disappointment that after preparing for so hard, so much, as much as 4 good years waiting for the Paris Olympic game, and eventually it is here. Just discover that you are not going to take part in a competition that you are prepared for 4 good years, just because of the...
That can be very painful.
Yes, just because of the negligence of duty by our administrator. That would be very painful. It is very painful for anybody out there. It could break you mentally, make you unstable, but then she was able to also, you know, take part in the 200-meter, did her best, but just that her best wasn't good enough. But then she has come out to say, yes, it is not done and dusted yet, because she will be part and parcel of the 4x400 meters as well in the women category, that, you know, also see if they can be able to bring something home for the country. But then a lot of positive to take home from the performance of Favour Philly.
A lot of positive to take home from the performance of Favour Philly, and of course we'll get to see how that goes, but she will be participating in the 4x100 meters relay as well as the 400-meter relay. Let's see how that goes. Away from that, now let's move on and let's take you through other happenings, you know, at the Paris Olympic Games. And of course, let's move on, and then let's also tell you activities of Team Nigeria at the ongoing games. And this one is saying Nigeria's weightlifter Rafiatu Lawal has promised to give her best to defend her fatherland when she goes for the medal hunt in women's 59 kg at the Paris Olympic. Nigeria weightlifter at the ongoing Olympic will begin the chase for medals today when Lawal flies out in the women's 59 kg weight class at the South Paris Arena inside the Paris Expo complex. And for another area, Nigeria medal hopeful is when it comes to the weightlifting. Can we change the narrative?
I don't know. We are waiting to see if we can be able to change the narrative. Take a look at our outing so far. It has been very disappointing generally, because we haven't registered a single medals. So many of we are almost out in all of them, remaining maybe just a few.
Really?
And just a few days before the, you know, curtains drops at the Olympic game. Let's hope that if at least in the weightlifting event we can be able to at least register our name on the medals long, but it's yet to be seen as it stands right now. But then I believe we can do it.
It's yet to be seen as it stands now, but there is hope that we can achieve it, and let's keep our finger crossed on that particular one. Away from that, let's also look at the possibility of even achieving more as time progresses, and this time we'll look at event that will lead up to the expectations that we so desire. The biggest, game a lot of us wanted to see, even in the world, was in basketball, and we saw what transpired. Nigeria Tigers made history, no doubt, but ultimately fell short against the dominant U.S. team. The African champions, of course, had become the first African team, male or female, to reach the Olympic basketball quarterfinals. Faced a doubting challenge against defending champions, and we saw how that one all panned out. Mike, your thoughts on that game yesterday?
Well, I think it wasn't a bad display. It wasn't a bad outing for the Tigers, starting from their game against Australia down to this point where they were able to break so many records, coming up against world #1 and a defending champion for that matter, giving their all. Just I think the way they started the game, in the first quarter they were down 17 to 26. Second quarter again 17 to 26. It just third quarter they lost. Or it's just the fourth quarter they were able to come out very strong to rally back. Winning that fourth quarter, which for me I think it was already late. The deed has been done before they were able to rally back in the fourth quarter. But then they will be holding their head very high, taking a look at their performance out there. Nobody gave them a chance to even come out of their group. But then they surprised so many out there, coming this far, breaking so many records, being the first African team, male or female, to make it through to this stage. And for Rena Wakama as well, being the first female coach as well in terms of basketball to get to this point. I think it has been an impressive outing for them. Let's hope that at least they can pick some positive from their outing this year. Possibly we can build on it going forward. Maybe, just maybe, the next outing we'll be able to learn, some good lesson, and we can go and improve on our, outing next time. Possibly the D Tigress will bounce back again. But then, in overall, I think it wasn't a bad outing for them in this year's Paris Olympic Games.
Another quarterfinal against Serbia women had posted 67 points. That's against Australia women who had 85 points. So Australia, the opponents of Australia were defeated in the group stage, and they've now gone to the semi-finals, which for them is a lovely one against Serbia.
Yeah, against Serbia is a tough challenge as well. But that is what you get in this kind of sporting event. Sometimes you discover that there are some opponents that are lower ranked than you, that will humble you, but then you get to meet another opponent just because of the fact that you've been beaten in your first game. Your opponent might think that you don't have such strength, but if you go back, re-strategize, get your acts right, you can actually improve and do great things. That is what Australia has done. After losing their first game against the Tigress, they've actually gone back to the drawing board to correct some of the mistakes, and here they are, in the next round, taking on Serbia, which is another very strong side. We are waiting to see the outcome of that result, but then I think it has been an impressive one for Australia, despite the fact that they did not start in a very good note, but then they are still clinging on to, see if they can be able to pick something out of this year's Paris Olympic game in the basketball event.
And then the Belgium women were very fantastic against the Spanish side, 49, 10 points difference between them, 49-69 it ended, and then Germany women did everything possible, but the French ladies were outstanding, 84-71. It looks like whenever it gets to this level, the French ladies will always want to get it tough, and I'm not surprised that they qualified.
Yes, as a host country, I expect them to be fighting from off, fighting like a wounded lion, because they want to make an impact. They don't just want to host alone, but to also host and finish within the podium in the medal slug. And if you take a look at the medal slug, they are not doing pretty bad at all. They are seated in a very comfortable place. So I think being the host country, playing in front of your home fans as well, gives them that edge going forward, and that is why we've seen them doing pretty well so far in different categories of the sporting event out there in the Olympic.
And of course, we'll get to see how far that goes. Let's move on now, and we'll have to, the power rankings are out. I saw this, I do not know if it was before the game yesterday, but I don't want to assume that, I know that the power rankings will continue even after now, but we heard that these Tigers have moved up to 4 places from 12th to 8th now in the world, which is also very advantageous for them.
It's a commendable one. The ranking came out before the game.
Before the game yesterday.
Yesterday, and it's an encouraging one, because out of the 12 teams taking part in this year's Paris Olympic game, Nigeria is the least ranked team out there. 12 teams taking part in this year's Olympic game, and Nigeria is ranked 12th. So in other words, we are the least ranked team in this year's basketball event out there in the Olympic game, but then we were able to at least make a statement of intent, and that is why we've actually gained some points and then moved from 12 down to 8. That is about 4 places gap out there. We were able to even topple the likes of China as well to get to this point. I think it's been an impressive ride for us. The positive result we saw, the impressive display, have earned them, a place in the 8th position in the world ranking right now, jumping from 12 to 8. I think it's a big, achievement for us.
It's a big achievement for us, and we get to see. So these guys have now been rewarded for their effort, jumping ahead of China, Puerto Rico, Canada, and Japan in the global power rankings. Let's move on. All right, away from that now, let's talk about other activities. As Nigeria sprinter Olayinka Olajide has taken to social media to voice her concern about the unequal distribution of training grants and athletes. The 21-year-old Olympian comment comes on the heel of the sports minister John Owen Eno's announcement of grants paid to all athletes on Tuesday. While applauding the initiative, Olajide in her swift message directed at the sports minister boss on the X platform recounted the significant financial disparity faced by local-based athletes compared to their foreign-based counterpart. Mike, if the foreign minister, if this is true, I don't know, but should there be any difference between the foreign-based athletes, grant and training, funds as compared to the local base?
There shouldn't be. There shouldn't be, because there are no difference. If you're a local-based athlete, locally based athlete, you head to the Olympic game, you win a gold medal, and a foreign-based athlete also went there and win a gold medal. Is the value of the gold medal that is won by the locally based athlete less inferior? Is it inferior compared to the one that the abroad-based counterpart get to win out? So for me, I think such disparity is not welcome by me. It doesn't show respect for the athlete, for their effort so far. Some of these foreign-based athletes, they also started here from the grassroots. They started from the home. Some of them even just got awards out there to go study overs, and that is how they get to find themselves out there. So I think such disparity for me is not okay. I mean, this is a racial supremacist at this highest level, because when you talk about racism and all of that, it doesn't just mean the color of your skin and all of that. It comes in different form. So for me, I think I'm not, in support of this, because the same effort that you put in as a locally based athlete, that is the same effort that foreign-based athlete.
But a lot of people will argue that, the training facilities and the level of preparation, it cannot be the same.
And that is why the locally based athletes need to even be rewarded even handsomely compared to their foreign-based athletes, because they go through a lot of strenuous activity, jumping from one bus to another. Over there, the things are even very easy for them. Their training facility is already there, and the top-notch quality. You get to train, your training, maybe you step into a train, get down to your training venue. After training, you eat very good food, you rest very well. But here, a local athlete, they tell you what they pass through. Sometime after training, you get to, chew bread and sachet water, jumping from one bus to another just to catch up with your training. So for me, if there are people that must be rewarded even higher, it's the locally based athletes, because they suffer a lot before they get to where they are right now. So such disparity, I think the sport minister should also think about it, reconsider, because it's not a good one. It feels demoralizing, it feels embarrassing for their effort, the effort that they are putting in.
They're still talking about the Olympics. Randy Wardrum thinks that, he hopes to stay on if given the opportunity.
I think I just smile at that.
But Mike, you are the same person that praised Randy Wardrum. I remember vividly when, after the glorious outing at the New Zealand Australia games, but in recent times, it seems you have fallen bitter ways with him.
Yes, because of his tactics. We saw a little bbit of maybe what the Super Eagles can do at the last World Cup, but we have failed to improve on the tactical and technical aspect of the game, and that is why I glanced through my Google. I saw that Randy Wardrum has failed to improve on his coaching tactics. He has failed to improve on his formation. He has also failed to improve on his techniques and tactics. So for such a coach that is too rigid with his tactical approach of a game, it doesn't speak good for a modern football. It doesn't speak good for the more attacking and flair kind of football that Nigerians are used to. Of course, the history of the Super Falcons, we've been the most adventurous team here in Africa. We should take that adventure to the global level where we'll be able to do massive things. You don't just go to the global level as though you are inferior. And that is what Randy Wardrum has made the Super Falcon look like. We are going against, other teams out there. We're sitting back to defend. I mean, who does that in this modern football? Now, after criticizing, the NFF for being responsible for the dismal outing of the Super Falcons because of lack of proper preparation and planning before jetting out for the Paris Olympic Games, you are now coming back to say that you still want to, coach the Super Falcons and all of that. More like a counterintuitive statement for me. If I must say, I think Randy Wardrum has welcome his, stay has been over welcome. I think it's right time for him to, go. Why? Because for me, I think his pattern of play is not in tune with the modern philosophy of football, and that is why we had a very poor outing. Well, we went there, played 3 games, conceded 5 goals, scored just only a goal. We're defending all through from game 1 down to the last game. So I think it's high time for him to at least throw in the towel. He shouldn't even wait. There are some coaches that after such dismal outing in a major championship, they don't even wait to hear from the federation. They just throw in their resignation letter, because to them they will feel that their effort is not good enough. And if you ask me, this is what I expect Randy Wardrum to do. Resign. Don't wait for the NFF to even start contemplating whether you are good enough to stay or not. And for me, like I said, it's not that coach that will take us to the glory land.
And of course, we'll get to see how that pans out. We'll go on a short break now. When we come back, we'll still have more on the Olympics.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we are in the second lap of the show, and of course we're preparing to coast home now. But let's bring you some lovely news from the Olympics. It's the Olympic season, and of course, it comes once in 4 years. So, I mean, if we are talking more of the Olympic, please bear with us because it is a time of, displaying activities that transpires on daily basis, and of course, we need to we are very, very discreet and also very, very timely with issues of the Olympics. We'll give you as it is happening, and that makes us unique from others. All right, let's talk about other happenings from Team Nigeria now. Australian hockey player Tom Greek has apologized after being released from custody in Paris following his arrest for allegedly buying cocaine. Greek was released with a warning and did not receive a conviction or a fine. The 28-year-old won silver at the Tokyo Games and has made more than 100 appearances for Australia. He'll be thanking his stars and very lucky.
Yes, he should be. He should be thanking his stars out there. He was shown some clemency, given some soft landing because the issue of cocaine and drug issues is not something that you take very lightly, especially in Olympic Games. We saw what happened to the Russians after years of dominance in track and field in an athletic event, but then when they were discovered that indeed they take part in some shady activities, some of those medals has been retrieved from them and they are getting, banned and punished. So for me, he should be thanking his God because he wants to become the Pablo Escobar in the Paris Olympic game by going public to get to purchase cocaine. I mean, what do you use that for? Drug enhancing issues. I mean, for me, if you are competing in a sport event, you should do that in a clean slate so that if you get to win, people will truly know, yes, it comes out of your God-given talent and strength, and not about taking some enhancing materials or substance into your system so that you can be able to overpower or maneuver your opponent. It doesn't speak good for, sports. Generally, so I think he should be thanking his God.
Should be thanking his God, and let's take a look at the medal table and what it looks like this morning. I'll tell you how far things have been happening, and of course, we'll start with the top teams in the world. So Paris medal table. Of course, we have the United States of America still doing the needful. As at yesterday, as at this morning, the USA, they are still topping the medal table with 27 medals, 35 of those. 27 gold medals, 35 silver, and 32 medals. They have a total of 94 medals this morning. China are second with 25 medals, 23 silver, 17 bronze, and 65 medals. And for the United States, they still have more glorious opportunity of even winning more of the medals as compared to maybe, let me not give up, but as compared to the Chinese. They are in the finals of the football game. They are also going coasting. It looks like they're going to win the basketball games in both the men and the female. So more opportunities for them.
Yeah, more opportunities for them, but we must give kudos to China as well. They've been doing pretty well. They've shown the determination. They've shown glitz and glamour. They've shown that deliberate intention that indeed they want to match up with the likes of United States. I mean, it has been back and forth between the United States of America and China in the medal slug, and clearly, we want to give kudos to China. Looking at their achievements so far, they've been able to at least carve a niche for themselves in terms of the Olympic game. One of, the greatest sporting event across the globe, and China is going to against a traditional, perennial winners such as the USA. You must also give them kudos. They are doing enough. Australia, France as well, not also left aside. Generally, if you take a look at the top 10, they discover one thing that is very striking, which is that the Asian countries, they are doing a lot. They are doing a lot.
The Asian countries are doing a lot, and of course, that's very important to get to note. So we have China, Australia, France. France, they were holding, the third place very strongly, but they've lost that. And of course, Australia are not in the leads in that particular one. Great Britain are also not doing badly. South Korea, Japan, Italy, Netherlands, Germany, Canada. In Africa, well, before I talk about Africa, let's look again at the USA. I mean, the US have gone far. More of the medals are coming from areas that ordinarily the US are not good enough. The US are now competing in what the Kenyans are known for, the marathons. The US are competing in events that ordinarily the Asians are known for. We saw how Simeon Miles, Biles, picked all the medals, almost all the medal haul at the gymnastic event, and you ask yourself, I mean, it looks like something is happening. Even in the poll vote, we saw what happened too when even if it was won by the one we know, but the US are always going to come in between. They're not second, they are third. Even the lady who was representing Nigeria, they reject. She also went and won a silver in the discus throw. So I think that when it comes to the US, their preparation is top notch, and they have a breeding ground, and that's why a lot of persons will tell you that the United States, of course, they are holding strongly to what should be a traditional stuff for them. And I'm not surprised at all, because if you have planted, you sow. I mean, if you sow, you reap someday, and that's what the USA guys are showing in all ramification.
Yes, US, they are taking the lead in terms of harmony, in terms of development, in terms of progress in sport generally. I think they are showing the way for others to follow. That you don't have, strength in some certain sporting area doesn't mean that if you focus on it and have a deliberate plan and action towards making something tangible out of it, that you cannot do it. It's very clear. Areas where naturally you don't expect the US to be doing very well, they've also capitalized on it, to at least get headway. And why? Because it was a deliberate and intentional plan towards developing such areas of sport that is relatively unknown to them. And they just discovered that they can do it more than even the people who you think, the sport originated from. They have, the absolute, skills to also achieve medals in that area. Other countries are also developed. Now, US is that country that knows what it means for it to invest and also give a breeding ground for some of the athletes, for some of the sportsmen and women to discover their talent and pursue it. You provide them with the necessary equipment, training tools, and also cater for their needs. And by so doing, if you take such things serious, why won't any sportsman want to do his or her best out there where they're done on the color of United States of America? You saw the Nigerian that was, was rejected, not rejected, but because of the administrative lapses, we could not provide funds for them to take part in the pre-doping test before the Olympic Games. 12 of them were disqualified, and that is how she switched allegiance to USA. While we are still battling, few days before the Olympic comes to an end, we have not registered any medals log, but then she has also won a medal for United States of America. So this
a national record holder.
Yes, and in a sport that Nigeria is not even known, in hammer throw. Do we have any representative in hammer throw? We don't. So if we had kept to the promise, kept faith with the developmental project, if we had done the right thing, maybe this medal that she won should have been for Nigeria. And it will come from a sport that is relatively unknown. So this is it.
This is it. We do not have time, but our last story on the show today will be in tennis, where Rafael Nadal, a 22-time Grand Slam champion, said he will not compete in the US Open. Nadal said he did not feel he could perform at his best. And for me, if you think you cannot perform anymore, the best is to look out for a time to hang up. Because, I mean, I love some footballers, likes of Richard of Manchester City, former Manchester City player, the likes of this young man who was crippled with injury. He's a pundit in Sky Sports. Every time you watch the English Premier League, you get to see him there. Owen Hargreaves, he also retired. There are other areas of life, especially someone like a brand like Rafael Nadal. If your body cannot carry you, Roger Federer did it and did it silently. Till now, he has not been honored. I don't know if you get it. Till now, he took the sport unaware. There was no time when they said, hey, this is his last game, and so he will be honored, even if they did some sort like that. But if your body cannot carry you, Mike, I think that the best is to pack your bag and say I reserve to the sports.
Yes, but my body can carry me.
Certainly.
Yeah. This is what we do for a living.
Everybody can carry you.
But for Rafael Nadal, looking at their profession, maybe when your body can no longer carry you, just time for you to call it quit and continue to tarnish the reputation that you have built for yourself over the years. We saw some footballers calling it quits very early in their career. Even Toni Kroos that just retired, he's still very young. Modric is older than him. Cristiano Ronaldo is older than him. Lionel Messi is older than him. You know, there are so many players that are older than him, but then he has decided to call it quits when the ovation is very high. Our own Mikel Obi as well.
True.
Retired very early.
And look for what he's doing.
Look for something else. Obi podcast, you are listening to him, still very much active, very viable, goes to and fro anywhere. You are not bedridden. You are not old that you say, I can't do this again. So that is what it means when your body begins to give you that sign, because there's one thing about nature that you can't actually cheat nature. That is just it. That is just the way it works. When you discover that your body can no longer carry, instead of you putting a dent or a question mark to, the credible job that you've done over the years, it's just for you to take a bow and leave the stage.
Take a bow and leave the stage. And of course, in football, FIFA has closed the proceedings against Katsina United and lifted the ban on registering new players.
It's a moment of uhuru for Katsina United after they have been banned from FIFA because of their misdeed against their former player out there. But then I think it's a big congratulations. Let's hope they've learned their lesson. FIFA have also directed its member agency, talking about NFF as well, to also leave the ban that was imposed on them as well. A big time for them to rejoice. Let's hope that they can also capitalize on this very glorious moment and correct their wrongs and also learn lesson going forward, because in life, when you make mistake and you pay for it, you need to take time out to ponder over those lessons and also chart a way forward, have a new leaf. And for me, I believe they've learned their lesson and they are going to make amends.
Mike, that will be all this morning, and I'm sure that we'll have more time to look at other stories and we'll come back later in the evening. Many thanks for being part of the conversation today.
That's always a pleasure.
My name is Ekpo Temple. We'll be back again later in the evening, 6 p.m. for Sports Extraordinary. Until then, have a lovely time, but not forgetting the guys who put this together and bringing it on daily basis for you. Go to our social media platform at Atlantic TV and some of the social media platforms, of course, you get to interact with us there. But then, it is one game, football without violence. See you tomorrow.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories,